Hello and welcome to IGN Overclocked episode. I have 23 in my notes. Not sure if correct. However, my name is
possibly 23.
Sure. My name is Mitch Dyer. I am one of your hosts, joined by Alana Pierce.
Hey. What's up?
All right. Feeling good. And Chloe Red.
Hi guys.
Welcome back. Welcome everybody.
Yay.
Dan is missing. I have literally no idea where he is.
I heard he died. He didn't
lost
didn't
him.
die.
Is that true?
Sorry. No, he didn't die.
We have a Vive in the office.
We do.
I'm so
It's
excited.
very exciting.
I'm so excited.
I finally used one last week for the first time. It is incredible.
It's
The Vive is, I feel like, hardware-wise, objectively the best.
I don't know how any VR competes with room scale. Like, it is actually life-changing in terms of what the possibility is for games.
I mean, Vive is technically a combination of AR and VR, right? In that you can see
I don't
the
even
room.
know. Yeah, but it's all digital. It's not like a projection of your room. It just sort of
True.
understands the space you're in.
Yeah.
But
So
still
it's-
being able
doesn't
to move
manipulate it.
around is so important, like in 3D
Totally.
space. Like I thought when I used the it was previously called the Morpheus, right? But the
Sure.
Sony's VR, I used the two PlayStation Move wands, and I thought that was really important to be able to use your hands. But like the HTC Vive's controllers are so
good.
much better.
And they have like the double click like a mouse, and they have the touchpad. Like
The
there's
touchpad's really
so many
great.
things you can do.
Yeah.
And I think the touchpad has a lot of buttons on each of the edges as well. Like I almost feel like a fighting game would work with those controllers super
Oh
easily.
my god, a VR fighting game?
I wonder how
That'd be
would
so
work.
good, a VR brawler.
Oh my god. So,
Like you could just sit in the audience and watch while you're fighting. I like
Yeah.
that.
I like that.
That's good.
So far, the demos that we have, we have everything that I've ever played in a smaller capacity. So we have like the Portal demo, and we have the Dota demo, and we have a Job Simulator demo.
I haven't tried the Dota demo yet.
It's really cool.
It sounds
like,
awesome. What is it, Secret Shop?
Favorite thing, yeah, it's the Secret Shop. My favorite thing is that Marty, who hates Dota 2, is like super into it. He loves the demo. He walked in when I was doing it. He's like, "Oh, it's a Secret Shop. I love the Secret."
But I mean,
So good.
I imagine that the Secret Shop would effectively look like a shop in some kind of Fable universe.
Yeah, what is it? I'm not.
Right, it's not like when I heard that it's a Dota 2 demo for VR. I assumed like, oh, cool, like you'll watch a multiplayer game and something, right? But it's like no, it's you're in one room, and it's basically like a better version of the Secret Shop in that world. So the shopkeeper comes in, he's animated, and he's like, hey, what's up? Oh, you take this light bulb, and you can look at the Secret Shop with the light because it's really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do that, you sort of just explore this open space and look under benches and stools, and you find like, oh, cool, like there's some power treads down there. There's a hyperstone on the wall. There's a blink dagger. When I approach it, it blinks away. And
Yeah, so gameplay-wise, it has nothing to do with Dota.
nothing. It's
Right,
all
it's
in
just so
that world.
similar to the Aperture Science thing.
yeah, where it's
Yeah.
just
Kind
it's
kind of a
the world.
walkthrough, yeah. Like, but that's still so. It's such an amazing experience, though. Like, even doing the most mundane things in VR,
I loved the
is so
Portal
fun.
demo.
Like, I played Job Simulator.
Job
That's what-
Simulator is great.
Yeah, I had so much fun just like filling up a coffee cup and dumping it on electronics and
Yeah.
like throwing stuff over the cubicle.
And
like,
it's really cool that they account for that. Like there is writing in the game to account for all the stupid stuff you can think of.
We actually
Like, it
got a comment
responds
on
to it.
our Vive unboxing where someone was like, why would you want to play Job Simulator? That's so stupid. And like,
That's the
it's-
point, dude.
you
It's
don't
not,
understand.
though. It's actually really great. And I don't actually know why it's great, but it is.
Well, it's
It's like,
funny because it's supposed to be this
you do
mundane.
paperwork and
Yeah.
it's super fun.
I love how much the game jokes about the mundanity of work too. Like your mouse pad
Yeah.
is like, I love job.
Yeah.
Things like
I
that.
love
Like
miscellaneous
work is the
job.
best.
The Portal one, I probably had like the strongest reaction to because
Same.
that's just like it felt like I met characters from Portal.
Yeah.
and that was really cool.
It's just cool to
it
be
looks kind of scary.
when
Yeah.
when
Atlas
GLaDOS
and-
comes
and-
down and
Oh
she's-
yeah, that part.
That
She's
was
like-
the best part for me.
she's so huge, like way bigger than you think. And then Atlas or Peabody or whoever comes walking through the door,
Atlas.
it's like I literally walked out of the way.
yeah.
So I was like, you're
Yeah,
scary.
I did too. I actually squealed. There's like video footage of me screaming at that. But it's so nice to be able to do that stuff in VR because yeah, you totally forget that there's a world outside of what you're seeing. So
Yeah.
it feels like you're meeting.
Except
them.
when you don't, right? Because the problem, and we've talked about this on the show before, is like the chords coming out of the top of your head are a big
Yeah.
problem. And here I had to have Brian Malkowitz on our video team sort of like babysit me the whole time.
Yeah, so this is like the first time that anyone I know has experienced Vive outside of a controlled environment.
It's on our terms. It's
How
in our
different is that?
office. It's very similar because in the end, you still need like someone to look after you. You still need a certain amount of space to move around safely. There's still cables everywhere.
Yeah.
But the problem becomes like, okay, if something goes wrong, you just have to stop and wait for someone to fix it. You could conceivably take the headset off, but it's like, okay, headphones off, headset off, fix the problem on the PC, set it all up. Is it fixed? No. Do it again. Whereas I could, by myself, or with Brian, be like, hey, this thing's problematic. Okay, it's fixed. Cool. And we just proceed.
Yeah,
So
'cause
VR
that
became like a
you would-
weirdly
you would
cooperative
stop-
experience.
Yeah, you would stop really, really quickly if you had to take it off every single time you had to fix something.
Totally.
that kind of sucks. Is it off-putting for you though? You played for like an hour and a half.
Like 90
today?
minutes. Yeah, I love it so much that
So you didn't want to stop.
No, I don't think that those problems are enough to be like, oh, it's definitely not worth $800 or your time. Like, absolutely not. It's a phenomenal experience that I cannot wait to see what this is a year from now.
About playing Tilt Brush.
Tilt Brush is
Tilt
so
Brush
cool.
is really cool. Like the possibilities for like performance art almost.
Yeah, I think I might just like stay late on Friday and build some cool stuff in that. Like,
Oh, I'm super down for that. Absolutely.
So exciting.
The immersion is so real that like I was actually when I played it, I was afraid to try a demo called The Blue, I think. Right? It's like a
I did
deep
The Blue.
sea. Yeah. So like deep sea stuff is like my actual phobia, and I did not want to play it. And like as I was taking the headset off, the guy who's in charge of the computer like put it on, and I freaked out and like
it actually made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's weirdly
I don't
unsettling.
think people realize like we see horror as a genre that's going to be really big for VR. I don't think people know what they're getting into.
I don't want
like,
to.
Yeah,
There
because like even The Blue, you were just like standing on a boat, like the deck of a boat.
Yeah,
and
you don't
look
even
out
really
into the ocean.
do anything.
There's nothing, and then I
giant
was there, and
whale.
Marty was watching me while I played it, and he was like, "You can walk around, look around," and I was like, "I really don't want to."
Yeah,
I was like,
there's
I was
big,
really
like
tense,
a big
just
blue
like,
whale like flies
yeah,
over you.
I screamed at the whale. Also, like it's
Stingrays flying by.
It's really
No.
unsettling, and you could like do a lot of really interesting stuff. Like one thing I feel like I remember reading a blog post on was talking about simulating you as a homeless person effectively.
Whoa.
So you would be a homeless person and you would try and interact with people, but literally everyone would ignore you or look at you and not say anything to you, and how that feels.
The first Indiecade that I went to when the Oculus Rift was people were first starting to get dev kits and stuff, I saw a demo. I don't remember what the game was called, but it's this company that makes empathy games, and they made something. It was like it emulates the bystander effect or something, like during a real life incident of police brutality, where like you're in that scene and you're watching that and you're getting to see that up close.
It's much worse in VR than it would be just over video.
Yeah,
for sure.
people don't like, unless you've experienced it, you don't know how real it feels.
Yeah, which is like, I hadn't even thought about how, I feel like a lot of the games that will get developed will be like classic horror. Like we'll probably see some kind of adaptation of Slender even. But
I so do not want that in my life. The PlayStation
I'm
VR
so
demo.
scared of
What's
Slender.
that thing called? The PlayStation VR demo.
The Kitchen?
The Kitchen.
The Kitchen.
I don't want that. I haven't
play
done
that.
it, and I don't want to do it because
yeah,
it's
that's
like
the only one I haven't done.
like there's something, especially in Vive, right? Like if I'm in Oculus, it's a very different conversation because if I'm using an Oculus or a PSVR, I am sitting in my seat, I'm stationary, and I have a gamepad or the Oculus touch controllers. So in that regard, I know where I am. And you can still do super effective stuff to someone who's seated while doing VR. Like I did a Far Cry 3 Oculus demo where it's that trailer where Voss is like screaming at Jason and he's tied down and he's like gets kicked over the edge, and it is weirdly unsettling to be kicked off a cliff while sitting in a chair. So you can do it and it can be effective, and that's still terrifying. But to be in a room scale VR experience where you are navigating a space and looking for something to jump out at you and then like physically recoiling when that does, like my demo had a bug earlier today where I tilted my head and it got freeze framed and my brain shut off. It was like, something is very wrong. We are going to fall down now. And I almost fell down because it's just like your understanding of space and positioning is so wrecked. So to have horror, like that is the most horrifying thing I can imagine as a horror
They'll
game.
do
in
that
VR.
kind of stuff, like
Somebody absolutely will.
like mess with your or give you motion sickness intentionally.
Your
Oh,
actual
it's-
mess with your actual senses.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I feel like that's like not even okay. Like,
yeah, that sounds unhealthy almost.
Well, yeah, because
like,
that's real
it's-
world. But
yeah.
I mean, I think VR does mess with your senses really intensely, even if it doesn't mean to. Like,
yeah. Well, to the point, like
like
somebody
with eye
walked in.
tracking,
Yeah.
if it's done improperly.
But it was to the point for me today, like somebody walked in while I was doing the demo, and I could hear people walking in and talking, and I had headphones on, and I was focused on the game, and I could hear people talking about it. And then I turned, and like I felt somebody brush against my shoulder, and they were like, "Haha, I wanted to see how close I could get to it." I'm like, "That is not okay. Like this is not how this works.
Yeah.
Please don't do that."
that's just really mean.
It's very
You're
invasive
almost
in a
hyper
weird,
aware of
unsettling
your
way.
personal space. Yeah, even
Yeah.
in the virtual setting.
Because you're not there. Like you don't
Yeah.
feel like you are in
You're
the IGN
trying to
office.
tell yourself that you're not in that digital world, but you feel like you are. And then when you're like whipped back into reality,
It's almost
Scary.
it's weird to be in VR for that long and come back. Like everything in the real world just feels a bit off.
yeah.
Like the first time I used Vive and I came back, I was like,
true.
my hands feel wrong, man. Like it
Yeah.
was a very strange
I
feeling.
wonder what the first like negative side effects of VR are gonna be. like
Fox News
how
will tell you.
they're going to be classified, like Matrix syndrome or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's a
man.
huge issue with people not being able to tell the time when they're in VR, so they don't understand how much time has passed.
Whoa.
Which, like, it's you just
Okay.
because of the way that whatever the narrative you're immersed in is evolving. It means that you just believe that, and you're not aware of time consciously outside of that. And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
People could get stuck in VR.
I feel like that's possible. I don't feel like yes, it's more immersive than games because it's physically all you're seeing and being part of, but I don't feel like it feels any less like a game.
I mean, I feel like
to me.
For some people, maybe some people who are more easily can fall into that hole, you know?
And people who are more, it's like like hypnotism, like just be open to it, man.
Yeah. VR as therapy is going to be interesting too, like exposure therapy for phobias.
I'm
like
gonna do if I don't want that though. I don't want to. I acknowge that it would be amazing. I don't want to sit.
Yeah. There was that one VR horror game that got kickstarted called Nevermind. That it's supposed to learn your fears and introduce them slowly or something like that.
Hate that. I don't want VR therapy where I have to hang out with a bunch of
spiders.
Bees.
I don't want that either.
There'd
be spiders everywhere for mine. That would be terrible.
I would be stuck at the bottom of the ocean. There's already a game about that, Narcosis. Yay! I could not play that at E3. Could not do it.
Really?
No. Had the headset on for like a second. This was
it's a VR game as well.
Like, nah, man.
Yeah, this was the Oculus Rift. Like, it's funny because I think I could play it on a screen. You know, like I got through Soma okay, even though the ending was nope. But yeah.
How do you feel about BioShock then? Does that bother you too?
BioShock's kind of okay because you're inside, you know.
Yeah.
But Soma, there's this whole sequence where you have to like. You're at the bottom of like the Mariana Trench or something, and you're walking through like pitch black, and there's all these like demon eels or something like.
Demon eels.
You go, oh my god! You go through this tunnel, and it's. You go through this tunnel full of like crab spiders, and I'm just like.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah, in VR, I would die.
On the flip side of that, I think there's like really positive ways therapy can be used, and I'm also just. For some reason, I really want my grandma to try VR, and I really want her to like go to Paris or something.
Dude, when we're old, it's gonna be so cool to have the most advanced ER. When we're in the ER, I don't know.
Yeah, visit Paris or like be on a beach and
touristy stuff is the thing that appeals to me the most, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like less. Like it's not even conversion therapy. It's like, okay, I just need to like shut off for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm feeling bad. I'm in a bad place. I just want to like go to a beach.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and your VR experience is literally you're in a lawn chair and you're holding a book.
This is getting pretty real, but like, you know, things like euthanasia. Someone will like, where do you want to be when you die?
Oh,
you could simulate that.
God, that is amazing.
But then on the flip side of that, have you seen that Black Mirror episode with the grains?
The grains?
The note that I'm on here is like if you could record stuff and then relive it in VR, so you had some like way of recording things, and then like there's an episode basically where a guy leaves a girl. It's a way of cutting it really
eye
short.
implant thing.
Yeah, and then he keeps repeating their relationship, and I feel like that would totally happen. Like, like relationships would be really messed up if you could like re-watch things from your life in VR all the time, like from your perspective. Like, it'd be crazy.
Scary. The future is scary.
Yeah,
the
now
future's really terrifying. Take it all back. VR's the worst.
Send it back, Mitch. Send it back.